Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or wherever you may be at the time you decided to tune in to the We Power Daily podcast. Welcome to the We Power Daily. I'm your host, P. Anthony, aka the Underground Professor. The We Power Daily podcast is birthed out of coaching sessions that I have with my clients. And what I attempt to do is to pull topics that come out of the situations, scenarios, events, or just in general conversation during the coaching session that I'm having with my clients. And I may grab a topic and I'll put it into the We Power Daily podcast. So I want to thank you for taking time out to join me. And if you would do me a favor, like the podcast, subscribe, and share it. Share it with someone whom you think would enjoy listening to the We Power Daily. And then go back and listen to the previous episodes. You may find your favorite episode. And when you find your favorite episode, just shoot me a comment to let me know that you found your favorite episode. Today's topic is going to be about grants and writing grants. So many of you know that I've written grants. I've been awarded a few grants that I have written. I've written about 15 or 16. I'm going to go back and get the accurate number, about 15 or 16 grants. I've won 10 of those. Some of them were easier than others. Some of them was just about submitting an application. The application wasn't necessarily technically correct, but the narrative was strong enough to get the message across that would make those who were making the decision pertaining to the grant award us the grant. And out of that, I began to promote and encourage others to start writing grants and not really labeling myself a grant writer. I just happened to be one that was asked to write a grant, my first grant, not really knowing anything about grants, the technical side of writing grants. I took the application and I took my time with it. And I answered one question at a time until I got through the entire grant. The hardest part was probably putting together the budget. I did the best that I could with that, and I submitted the grant, not really feeling one way or the other about the grant. And about a month or so later, after submitting the grant, we got an email saying, "Congratulations." That was my first grant for about $25,000. And we continued on through COVID. COVID made it, I think, a little easier during that COVID season to write and win grants because there was a lot of federal dollars that were coming down for grants and to help others with their organizations, the grassroots organizations. And that was also a season where we were dealing with diversity, equity, and inclusion. That was also the season where, unfortunately, the George Floyd case happened. So during that, all of that, I'm writing grants and I'm having some success in winning the grants that the grants that I was submitting. But I've learned a lot through that process, that ranging from 2019 up until now. Um, the last two grants that I have been awarded was in the latter part of 2023, and that was for over about 110,000 combined with both of those grants. And so, having a coaching session with one of my clients, whom I believe there was some probably misunderstanding in my uh, grant writing services. Now, I don't promote myself, and if you've been around me long enough, you know I don't promote myself as a grant writer, but I have written grants and I have won grants. I've been successful. And so what I like to do or like to promote myself as a grant writing consultant. And what does that look like from my window? When I look out of my window as a grant writing consultant, what that means is I will help you develop a template for your organization where you can use to write grants with. Just a template. Now, that means that you would have to tweak it per grant in whatever the funder is asking. But 80 to 90% of the process of writing the grant will already be completed. You would need to adjust your budget to the grant that you're going after. And again, you would need to tweak the grant pertaining to what the funder is looking for and making sure that your narrative lines up with your budget and your budget lines up with the narrative for your ask. And then, more importantly, making sure that the mission of what your organization is doing lines up with the mission of what they're asking for the grant, what the funder is asking for. And so my role as a grant writing consultant, the way my process works is there's a monthly fee and we have coaching sessions. And in those coaching sessions, we are answering grant type of questions. We're answering grant questions that will, by the end, you will have a full template that you can use. It takes the bulk of the work out of writing grants. And with that template, you will be able to search grants and begin to submit grants. Save you a lot of time, again, because 80 to 90% will be completed in the template. And then you're able to pull from the questions that we've answered and plug them into the grant questions for that particular grant that you're going after. And so it makes grant writing easier. It makes grant writing doable, possible, and without the heavy fees of a grant writer. Now, by all means, if you can afford to hire and pay a grant writer, by all means, I would suggest doing so. But most of the organizations and clients I work with, their budget at this particular time doesn't allow them the opportunity to go out and hire a grant writer. Some grant writers I know, they won't even pick up a pen for less than $1,500 or $2,500 to get started. But again, the grassroots organizations that I work with that I know are really in the field putting in the work, they don't have the infrastructure to really afford a professional grant writer. And so what I'm doing as a grant writing consultant, I would like to believe, is making it affordable, but also, as the old saying goes, I'm not writing the grant for you. I'm not giving you a fish. I'm teaching you how to fish. And the saying goes, if you give someone a fish they can eat for a day, but if you teach them how to fish, they can eat for the rest of their lives. And so, looking out of my window as a grant writing consultant, I'm one that's going to serve my clients in helping them create a grant writing template that allows them to use that template to go after grants. And it is the grant writing, it's a grant writing season. There are so many grants out there. And I would encourage you to just take a look at one or two grants and take one question at a time. One question at a time. Write your grants one question at a time. Having the mindset to know you're writing to win. You're writing to win. And I'm sure as I write more grants, I will probably lose more than I win. But to win one, man, could change the game. To win one could make a difference in somebody else's life. And if I can help grassroots organizations begin to write, then I know I can help those organizations make a difference in their community. I want to thank you for tuning in to the We Power Daily, the We Power Daily podcast. I'm your host, P. Anthony, aka the Underground Professor. And if I said anything in this particular daily podcast that you have questions on, feel free to tag me in the comments. Reach out to me on Facebook at P. Anthony, and let's talk about it. Maybe I can assist you and help you in your organization. Do me a favor, like, share, subscribe, and as Zig Ziglar would say, have a better than good day.